science.
This is an NBC News special report. Here's Tom Yamas.
Hey, good afternoon. We are coming on the air with breaking news right now. An apparent active shooter situation unfolding at Florida State University in Tallahassee. Police have said the reported shooter was located near the Student Union on campus. Moments ago, the local hospital, Tallahassee Memorial Health, told NBC News that at least 4 people were transported to the hospital from the campus. The full scope of this shooting remains unclear. The extent of those injuries is also unclear. Law enforcement is now urging people in the immediate area to seek shelter and stay away from all windows and doors. A message went out to FSU students telling them to shelter in place, that there was an active shooter on campus. This is one of the largest universities in the state of Florida, there in the capital city of Tallahassee. Spring break had already wrapped up for these students, so there was classes in session. Shooting happened sometime around lunchtime. Danielle Streety is a student there and an eyewitness to some of the things that were happening on campus, specifically the law enforcement presence. Danielle, tell us what you saw outside your window.
Hi, Tom. Yeah, so right outside my window, immediately I saw dozens of LEO, OWL, police, sheriff. Ambulance came a couple minutes later. I did see them carry out one student, what looked like on a stretcher, and kept them in the road until an ambulance was able to pick them up. Directly across from me, there's a building about 50 feet outside of the window. Unfortunately, the room I took shelter in is double locked, but there are windows, so I can see everything going on. There was a student in there injured as well, and they had to transport them in a desk chair to the road to then be transported via ambulance.
Just real quick, Danielle, let me stop you right there. When you say a desk chair, the person was in a desk and they literally had to move the desk and the chair, or that's the only way they could get them out?
I would be like an office chair, so like a chair on wheels, and they wheeled them in that chair down to the street.
And then have they told you anything else? Have you heard from university officials about what's happening at this moment?
Not that I know of. I have heard unofficial reports that the shooter has been neutralized. Again, I don't know if that is true or not. But,
and we don't have that either, so we'll stick to what we know right now. And again, this is a fluid situation, and the news could change. From what we understand, this happened near the Student Union. Talk to our viewers about the amount of students that are probably there during the lunch hour, and what it's like as far as people traffic goes.
Oh, hundreds. This time of day, it is packed. I mean, all the restaurants in there are opening up. Students are getting their lunches, transporting to and from class, going to study sessions, a meeting with friends, just getting a coffee to try to recharge in the middle of the day. It's it's one of the busiest places on campus.
Have you spoken to anyone? Do you know anyone that heard the gunshots when this was happening?
Actually, a couple of faculty that work in the building I'm in ran up after the sirens went off to take shelter with me and said they heard the gunshots and were running, and that's how they got into the building. Around
what time did this happen, Daniela?
I want to say right around 12:05.
And then when you talk about the police presence there, we understand that there's local police, obviously the FDLE and other agencies. The campus right now, fair to say, completely on lockdown, right?
Correct.
And you guys had just wrapped up spring break, so classes were still in session. A lot of people were back on campus.
Yeah, and it's actually right before finals are coming up in about a week and a half, so we're all on campus ready to attend those final classes and start studying and finish up the semester. So we're very busy. From
what you can see outside your window, are there still police? Because we're showing obviously video that we've shot and video that's on social media that we have verified of police running in and out. But are you still seeing sort of that active police presence on the campus? Does it still feel like they may be hunting someone down?
Left. Yeah, so in terms of right now, there are U.S. Marshals out here. There's actually people with their hands up right outside my window walking into the Caraway building. There's a man there with a vest and a sniper. And all around me, I can see, as far as I can, nothing but blue lights from the police presence. It's only grown since I have been sitting here.
And when you talk about those people with the hands up, I think you're talking about students who are being evacuated to a safer area?
Yes, correct.
And how many students are we talking here? I mean, are you seeing dozens?
Oh, I'm thinking every bit of 100 or more. I mean, it's been a long line of people with their hands on their heads walking into the building across from me.
From what you've gathered from speaking to that faculty and to your fellow classmates as well, do you know a little bit more about where in the student union this may have happened, or was it outside? Was it inside?
Dude, what I am hearing, it was inside the student union. That's about all the detail I have. There's a couple of people I knew who had friends in the student union. No one, thankfully, I knew personally was in the student union that I know of. But people heard shots being fired from the outside, but I'm assuming the shots were fired inside.
And then talk to me about just the security presence you have there at Florida State University. Like I said, it's one of the largest universities in the state of Florida. So many kids from all over the country really come to study at FSU in a city that has Florida A&MU. It has TCC as well. There's so many universities there in the capital. What is the security presence on campus? Because unfortunately, these school shootings have sort of become part of our American reality.
Correct. I've always thought that FSU PD has done a great job in general. I have never once felt unsafe my time here at FSU, or really in Tallahassee in general, because I'm born and raised here in Tallahassee. I have hardly ever felt unsafe until now, because I would have never known. I almost went to the student union today, and I'm so glad I decided against it. As
far as security precautions, emergency buttons that they have sometimes around college campuses in case crimes do happen, a visible police presence, do you see that at FSU day in, day out?
I do always see FSU PD around campus. No matter where I go, they are always somewhere wherever I am. We do have the emergency buttons all around campus. They've actually have taken initiative to try to make more of those, to my knowledge, to try to make them more accessible in case if someone is unsafe. But then again, I feel like they had some pretty good security measures. I'm not quite sure how this happened.
Okay, Danielle, I want you to stand by for us as we're getting new reporting. And if you're just joining our coverage here, we are following an active shooter situation on the campus of Florida State University in Tallahassee, Florida. We understand this happened sometime around lunchtime and that it happened in the student union. Again, this is preliminary information. It could change. From what we know, at least 4 people so far have been taken to the hospital. Our George Solis is also tracking the developments from Florida as well. And George, what can you tell our viewers? What more news have we learned?
Yeah, Tom, so again, fast-moving and fluid situation here. We can kind of give a timeline of when FSU first put out the alert. That was around noon at the start of the lunch hour, saying an active shooter has been reported in the area of the student union. Police are on the scene or on the way, advising people to continue seeking shelter. Now, as of note, we know that at least 4 were hospitalized. The hospital there, Tallahassee Memorial, putting out a notice a little bit ago, and we have it here, saying they are actively receiving and caring for patients related to an incident that has occurred at FSU. At this time, details are still unfolding. We'll note that they do not say the number of people at this time, indicating this could be a fluid and rapidly changing number as well, saying we do not have specific information to share. However, we want to assure the community that our teams are fully mobilized and prepared to provide the highest level of care and support to all those affected. And again, just of note, Tom, as you've mentioned, this is a very large campus. More than 40,000 students attend FSU according to their records. We're also seeing some reaction pour in from officials as well. Senator Rick Scott, former governor of Florida, saying he's praying for the safety of everyone at FSU and a swift recovery for those injured. He's saying his team has been in touch with local law enforcement and continues to monitor the situation with students there on campus. And we should note, Tom, at this hour, FSU putting out another bulletin about 12:40 Eastern, saying that all classes and university events, including athletic events scheduled for today, have been canceled. Individuals not already on main campus at this time should avoid coming to the Tallahassee main campus. Again, just indicative of that large police presence and what we're going to see over the next several hours as this investigation unfolds. We've seen this play out time and time again when you have these multiple law enforcement agencies surrounding this campus to learn more about what transpired here. And as you mentioned, this is such a fast-moving and unfolding situation. There's going to be a lot to learn here in the hours ahead, Tom.
Okay, George Solis for us. George, we appreciate that. I want to get to Evie Pomporis. She's an NBC News law enforcement analyst. Evie, walk our viewers through what you think's happening right now. As far as police are concerned, we're seeing a lot of different agencies here. From what we know, at least at this moment, it sounds like the active shooter is still being hunted down there on the campus. You have a sprawling campus there in Tallahassee and multiple agencies. Who becomes sort of the point person on this, and how do they make sure they neutralize that shooter?
Well, you would probably presume that they've practiced this before. Usually, like the local security, and I'm also an adjunct professor as well, so I'm aware of like what happens on campuses. You have your local security, the public safety security that works with local entities. So right now you have a large campus, a lot of students. The first thing is going to be going to where the threat is, where the shots are being fired, and finding who the active shooter is, if they haven't already done that. And securing that person. The second thing you're going to want to do is, are there any other entities, other people involved? Sometimes we assume it's always one person. It could be multiple people. After that, after you sweep the entire campus, and that's probably what they're going to need to do, building by building, even if you get that one shooter that you're aware of, you want to go through the whole thing and make sure that you haven't left anything. In addition to that, you're going to look at the active shooters, the way he or she arrived. Did they have a car, a vehicle? Where did they stay? Did they live on campus? So these are the things you want to look at. Now, from a safety standpoint, meaning I want to know if there are explosives in the car, other weapons in the car. If the student lived on campus, I want to go into that dorm room. I want to see if there's anything going on in that dorm room, booby traps, explosives. So everything at this point is safety, safety, safety. Find the threat and neutralize that threat.
I wanted to ask you, though, how hard is it in the situation, right? Because we don't know if the shooter is a student, if it's somebody random who walked into campus. And if it is a student, right, making sure they get the right person when you have all these thousands of students trying to evacuate this massive campus.
It's not easy, but most of these campuses have security cameras. And look, I know you're thinking, is it a student, is it not? It kind of doesn't matter at this point when you're looking at so many people. And you really, obviously, when you're looking at that person, unless they're blending in, if they've taken, let's assume they've taken their shots and now they're blending in and they're trying to escape. That usually doesn't happen. We usually, when we see these scenarios, one of two things tends to happen. Either the shooter is taken out or the shooter takes themselves out. So it'll be interesting to see if this individual perhaps did take their shots and then decided to blend in. Usually, though, Tom, what we've seen in the past, there are always statements that they're trying to make. What are the different things? I want to send a message. I want people to know. I want people to know it was me. Yeah. I'm upset about something, life-changing, stressful event. And so that's why it's possible that they do know who the shooter is. They also have CCTV cameras. They're looking at where this happened and following that person around on campus.
Okay, Evie, we thank you for that. We want to go back to our student who is on campus, Danielle Streety. Danielle, right now you are eyes and ears there on the campus of Florida State University. That active shooter situation still ongoing. I know police just evacuated you from a building. Talk to us about what happened.
Yeah, so I was in the third floor room locked in. Police knocked on the door and they escorted us out of the building. We're now in the Caraway building with a bunch of other students on campus that were also escorted. It's a very stressful situation. People are distraught. Some people were there. It's very emotional and it's a lot to take in right now.
Yeah, I can't imagine what it's like. You know, college is supposed to be this great time in a young person's life, and now you're scrambling for safety. Daniela, do you understand, have the police told you why they're clearing out your building? Are they going building by building, sort of sweeping them, if you will?
Yeah, they're pretty much asking us just to, I don't know why they evacuated us, but they're trying to tell us, you know, did you hear or see anything, any information that you can tell us, hands over your heads, and walked us out of the building just to make sure everything's clear and safe. That's all I've been told, and so now I'm in the new building right now.
Daniela, we're looking at the video that you shot, that you sent into our newsroom right now. Walk us through what we're looking at right here. I think we can see a couple police officers there on the ground.
Yeah, so there's way more presence now than there was in that video. It probably quadruple that. Police presence is very heavy right now. Lots of U.S. Marshals, FDLE. You have every law enforcement agency you can think of right now here within this vicinity.
Daniela, I want to make sure I do take a moment and thank you for being so poised and walking our viewers through what's happening right now, because there are so many students, friends, parents who have connections to Florida State University, and just anybody in general across the country concerned about an active shooter on a college campus like that. Have you gotten any more information from friends or from faculty or even from the police about what's happening? Does it feel, and I know you're not a law enforcement expert, but does it feel like they're still looking for this shooter?
To me, it does not feel like they're still looking for the shooter. not in my eyes. If they're evacuating people outside, I would hope they wouldn't still be looking for the shooter. So I don't think that is the case. I think they're just trying to gather as many students as possible in one safe, guarded area. And that's pretty much all I know. I know that my friends are safe. They were mostly in the same building that I was in, just in a different floor, locked in rooms. So I know that most of my friends are safe. But I know that they have people they knew who are in the union, and I don't know if they are okay or not.
Yeah, no, I hear you, and I'm sorry you're going through this right now. Daniela, we know that 4 people have been transported to the hospital. Are you hearing or seeing any more transports beyond that?
No, I have not seen anything else other than that. I think I saw the first 2 transported to the hospital, but after that I have not seen any other students.
We're also getting some new information from our Tom Winter, who covers law enforcement for us, telling us that the FDLE, Florida Department of Law Enforcement, says they are on campus and they're assisting the Florida State University Police, along with Highway Patrol and Florida Fish and Wildlife. So you can see so many officers are out there. The FBI also has a small office in Tallahassee, and we understand they're probably going to be sending agents over there if they're not already on the ground there. We should remind you, Tallahassee, of course, is the capital of Florida. This is where Governor DeSantis lives, so there is a large law enforcement presence to begin with there, and you have all those universities, including FSU, where this active situation is happening right now. On the phone, if you're just joining our coverage, is Daniela Streety. She is a student who had to be evacuated, who has been experiencing this active shooter situation and has been poised enough to kind of talk to us and walk our viewers through exactly what's happening. Daniela, if you're getting viewers caught up right now, the latest on the situation, as far as we can gauge, right, from what we can see, is that there's... Yeah, go ahead.
I'm out. I'm sorry. Hold on. I'm good? Okay. There are more students in there? Yes, there's a lot of students in there. Hey, Elena, start working on how we need a collection point for these that are coming out. Where would you like me to go? Okay, all right. I'm coming. Okay, all right. Sorry, guys, I'm being escorted again by law enforcement.
Danielle, that's okay. Take your time. Do what you need to. If you can, just tell us what's happening.
Their way. Yeah, so I'm currently being escorted. Yes, I'm okay. I'm on. No, I'm not. You see anything happen? I only saw students run out of the union. I did not hear or see initial events. Okay. All right, so just go ahead and continue on that way, and they'll guide you. Okay. You got all your stuff? My stuff is all in that building. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Danielle, are you still with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Can you tell us what just happened?
Okay. Am I being led back into the building? Yes, ma'am. Oh, but I was just in that building. I know. I don't know what's going on. Okay. There's a little bit, I think, miscommunication going on right now. I was told to escort the building, and now I'm being told to enter back in the building. So.
Yeah, sometimes in these situations, obviously, things aren't run as smoothly, as perfectly as you want, and you can sense sort of a little bit of the chaos there, but police are on the scene. Daniela Streety is a student who's been told to get out of her building, but now she's told to enter back into her building. Are you getting any more information from the police? Have they said if the shooter has been located or neutralized?
I have not been given that information officially from law enforcement here. My uncle is in FWC, unofficially told me through my father that the shooter had been neutralized, but law enforcement here have not said that.
Yeah, and we're not going to go with that information here at NBC News until we have that confirmed, but we appreciate, obviously, Daniela, all the stuff you're doing and helping us understand what's going on your campus. We have about another minute here, Daniela. Anything else you're seeing or hearing that's new from the time you've been talking to us?
Everything's about the same. They're all just trying to put the students all in one building. I'm just not seeing my friends for the first time. It's very emotional right now. I'm honestly glad we're okay.
Yeah, I understand, and I am so sorry you're going through this right now. Daniela Streety, we appreciate all your reporting for us here at NBC News. If you're just joining us, we have been watching this active shooter situation on the campus of Florida State University. We know at least 4 people have been transported to the hospital. Multiple law enforcement agencies on the ground in Tallahassee on the campus right now. We understand the shooting happened sometime around noon in the student union or around the student union. Again, a large police presence. All classes have been canceled. All events have been canceled at Florida State University as they try to locate and neutralize the shooter. We're going to stay following these developments as they happen, and if there are any major developments, we're going to come back on the air with it. That concludes right now this NBC News special report. We're going to have much more coverage on our streaming network, NBC News Now, online at NBCnews.com, and tonight, of course, when I see you on Nightly News. I'm Tom Yamas. We thank you so much for watching.